You're like, doesn't matter anyway.
No, it's a mess.
Exactly. So we'll wait a second because it still doesn't show us live. Oh, let's go. Here we go. Here we are. Let's get down. Yen How Cool. What's up, Mirjan? What's going down? Come on. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get down. Lock in. All right. Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Happy holiday. If it's not a happy holiday season for you, in other words, you don't celebrate the holiday season, happy every day from 5K, right?
Yeah.
If we cut out, if the stream stops in it just instantly, we'll start a part 2. You know where we live, on a barrier island off the coast of Alabama. That tends to happen. So sorry in advance. Okay. Good to go?
Yep.
Any shout outs or anything you have to start?
No shout outs. No.
No shout outs.
No.
I'm going to give 2 shout outs. I always like to give shout outs. Number 1 to Diadem Tennis and Adam Friel and Whitetech Strings, and the owner and CEO, Ivor Savage, who always help us out with our prize giveaways for every major. We know that the Australian Open is knocking on the door, and we are going to do for sure a $500 cash or 2 tennis rackets of your choice, or to predict the men's finals of the Australian Open, the women's finals of the Australian Open, and predict the winners. If someone does that, you will receive the aforementioned. If more than one person predicts it, which is hard to do, if more than one person does it, you will split the prize, or if both players want to compete for something to take it all, then we'll do so. You know, we always do fantasy teams. Carla and I may have a commitment upcoming that will limit our time to do the scores and upkeeping with the fantasy team, as we always do. So we will get with Thomas Chi in Canada, and we will get with Jean Swart in South Africa, who are our moderators and our fantasy team kind of scorekeepers.
So we're doing fantasy?
Well, I figure if we get with Thomas Chi, we'll pay him, obviously. If we get with Jean Swart, we'll pay him, obviously. And if they want to moderate and take in the submissions for the fantasy team competition, we will do that. And that will break the tie for the big pot. But if we are incapacitated and we can't do it daily like we normally do, if you guys want to do it, we will get with Thomas Chi in Canada and Jean Swart in South Africa and see if they would like to carry on the tradition on their own. And if we're not changing schedules, then we'll continue to do it. But either way, we're going to do the $500 cash giveaway.
When is the Australian Open?
Starts like the early January.
Early January. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone know the exact date? That's how I haven't really kept up. I mean, I read some of the tennis news, but I haven't really looked at dates of tournaments.
It's knocking on the door. We're going to talk about right in. Jean Swart. Hey, what's up, Jean? Much love to you as always. You're growing quickly. I do keep up with you on
17th of January.
Yeah, I do keep up with you, Jean. I really do. You're a fine young man, and you're definitely growing up quickly. If you and Thomas Chi want to do all the fantasy team stuff, then we will still do the prizes, but we may not, I say may, and I underline the word may, we may not have the time to do it moving forward, but we will see. Okay. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Starting the show out. Let's get down. Let's go. Rafael Nadal, Carla's boy, is back from, his injury-prone type sidelined kind of routine type things. Nadal is relatively injury-prone and has been, but he's back nonetheless.
I can relate to him, right?
I can relate to Nadal. Nadal is back and played Andy Murray yesterday and lost in straight sets. And is played Shapovalov today. We watched that match. Shapovalov took that match in a third set deciding tiebreaker. Thoughts on Rafael Nadal moving forward, Carla?
I think it's a warm-up tournament. I really didn't think much of it. Honestly, I wasn't even interested in watching it. I mean, I saw a few points from Murray and stuff. I said good for Murray. It helps his spirit, think that he can still compete at the highest level. 2 out of 3 with a tiebreaker.
I think, and correct me,
tiebreaker, so a junior tournament,
like a junior tournament,
so
a doubles match.
So really watered down tournament. Shapovalov. I mean, I didn't think much of it. Like I always say, Grand Slam is everything. If Djokovic or Nadal or any big guy loses in a smaller tournament, I really don't think much of it. I'm sure that Nadal is testing his foot to see how he's going to play, if he's going to play, because he's We know that there's times where he'll play some exhibitions or some tournaments up for the warm up, and then he pulls out of the Grand Slam if he doesn't feel 100%. So I didn't think much of it, honestly. I was like, it was just good to see them out there, I guess.
And it's not uncommon for Rafa to do exactly what you just mentioned. You know, if he's not feeling great, he'll pull out, knowing that at this point in his career, he wants to be the GOAT. And we all know that there's already, in a lot of our opinions, greatest of all time being Novak Djokovic because of the head-to-head versus the other of the big three, Federer and Rafa. But and history, looking back to new generations that weren't alive to see the big three, they're going to look at Grand Slam count. You know, who's the greatest, you know, of all time? They're going to look at championships. And I think that Nadal has always been good at navigating that path, right? So with that said, Rafael Nadal moving forward, was this just a match where he played it safe? He didn't want to push the envelope too far. He wanted to conserve energy on one half, but at the same time, maybe push it a little bit to make sure he's not hurting and not much more than that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Gene says Rafa looks slow. He always looks slow.
He looked like he limped a little bit after a couple points when he was like running into the open court. Shapovalov was pushing Nadal back and using angles and then exploiting the open court. And a lot of times when Nadal was trying to cover the open court, if he didn't get to the winner or the fourth air, he would kind of pull up and kind of hobble and then slow down instead of stopping and changing direction. Did you notice that?
Like I said, I didn't really pay much attention to Rafa.
Yeah,
I'm a Rafa fan, but again, I didn't pay attention because not until I see that he's playing the Australian Open, then I'll watch. I've kind of lost interest of anything before slams. I don't know, at the stage or at the age where I really don't care about anything but the Grand Slams. That's it.
We have written down that Juan Martín del Potro is coming back, and we'll talk about what tournament he's coming back in and his projected future because of his health-related issues. So back to Rafa for a second.
Another hopeful, another Kim Clijsters comeback, honestly, for Potro.
Okay, this is a good trivia question.
He hasn't played in years.
Okay, can you do a poll question? Carla just mentioned that Del Potro's comeback, Juan Martín from Argentina, would be commensurate with Kim Clijsters' comeback, the Belgian Grand Slam champion as well. Do you think that's a commensurate comparison? I don't think so. Kim Clijsters is way overweight. She's not in any type of tennis shape. By the looks of that, I don't think she's been dedicating too much time to practice. I was talking with Mike Sellers earlier today, a friend of ours, and we were talking about a TV for a certain location. And long story short, we were saying that we shouldn't have a TV that should be on anything but tennis in a way, right? Mm-hmm. Because we don't have time to not practice if you're going to be an elite tennis player. If you have time to some of the problems metaphorically with anything in life these days, if you're sitting in front of the television and you're trying to get a promotion and there's a team of people around you that are competing for that same promotion and your ass is parked in front of the television, more than likely someone else is busting their ass and they're going to get that promotion and not you. Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I see Yin Hassan not the same. No, and Yin says I can see the comparison. The wrist injuries are tough, and that's why I'm concerned for TM's future. I'm sorry. I think especially in men's tennis, if you are out of it that long,
exactly.
I'm sorry.
Daily practice.
But there's young guys out there. The game is faster. Someone like Del Potro, that's like a giraffe. You know, I'm sorry. And his forehand is flat.
So Isner and Riley Opelka are really big giraffes.
They're giraffes.
Huge giraffes.
But not only that, he hits his flat forehand. Medvedev does that better than he does. He won one Grand Slam and hasn't been able to win because of injuries. I get that he wants to play because he loves the sport. I understand that. But to think that Del Potro will even get into a semi and quarterfinals is laughable.
If Del Potro can stay healthy for an amount of time during tournaments, in other words, let's say, I'll just make a metaphor. Let's say Del Potro comes and plays Auckland. If it's happening, I'm not sure. Someone in New Zealand can let me know what the COVID protocols are there. But let's say, hypothetically, he played Melbourne or Auckland and then went into the Australian Open, did okay in each, obviously not going to win it, and then moves into the French, plays a little bit on clay, healthy, stays healthy, rolls into Wimbledon, stays healthy, starts to get fresh, and then jumps on the court during a major. If he stays healthy long enough, I think during a long year of getting the rust off, he'll be okay. However, can he stay healthy long enough to be okay?
He can. He's 33, 1. 2, he always looks like he's tired on the court. And that's why I call him a giraffe. Every point he plays, he looks so slow. Not only that, he's not built like skinny. He's actually tall and thick.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty thick.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I would give what's his name? Thor, ex Thor. Jeez, I can't believe
Thor?
Ex Thor. A better chance.
Who was her ex Thor?
Hatchinov.
She can't even remember.
That's how
she. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. How is it, Carla, that you were so gung ho on Kachanov or Hatchinov that you gave him a nickname, i.e., Thor, and you can't even remember who Thor was? How is that even possible?
I don't. It does shows you how interesting tennis is.
Man, I tell you what.
Gene Schwartz says no Auckland is canceled already.
Aye.
So I'm just saying, Del Potro, if I were him, I would be very selective. Just play one warm up and a Grand Slam, and that's it.
Gene, thank you for that. Let me ask everybody a question because of Gene's statement here.
Good question.
Gene indicated, "What's up, B-Dog? Let's go, Mac Jones. Let's go, Mac Jones. Come on. Let's go, B-Dog. Love him. Dog right there. Hence his name. He's B-Dog because he's my dog. Our dog. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. No, I didn't. All right. So Gene mentioned that Auckland was canceled. Warming up in tennis, whether it's for a tournament or whether you go out to the court to practice, is highly important, right? Mm-hmm. We go out, we warm up, and we tell students, exploit people's weaknesses. So find it during warm-up. You should be warm up long before you get onto the court, right? Find their weaknesses on warm-up. Give them a ball. I don't care if they want to take it overhead or not. Feed them one. Exploit the weakness, right? Mm-hmm. Push them back, open up the court, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if the warm-up for Del Potro per se is canceled, does that mean that for the Australian Open that the player that doesn't have to warm up the most will probably do very well at the Australian Open? If, in other words, if the warm-up tournaments, hence the name, are canceled.
Isn't ATP Cup a warm-up?
That's going on now, right? Anyway, if the warm-ups are canceled, would that basically inevitably mean that the player that is the quickest starter and not the slowest starter will do the best at the Australian Open? Who are some of the best fast starting players in the world?
Djokovic.
Who can take time off and come back and dominate?
Djokovic.
Who can come back and stay injury free?
Djokovic.
So anyway, so we answered the questions. If the warm-ups are canceled because of COVID reasons, and we're going to get into that in a moment, I feel that the best quick starter for the Australian Open will win it, and that's Djokovic. Okay. I know we're all sitting back wondering about this whole vaccination thing. That's the next topic, by the way.
Yeah, but I actually wrote about that too.
Let's shift to Andy Murray for a second. Did anyone notice when Andy Murray was playing Rafa Nadal and now playing Shapovalov currently, did anybody notice that Andy Murray had a blacked out racket? Did you notice he had a blacked out racket?
I didn't notice that. Like I said, I didn't pay much attention, but I do know that he split with his coach.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's looking for a coach or a sponsor.
No, he has a coach. I think he already hired someone. I'm fairly certain.
Okay.
But what does that mean? What does a blacked out racket mean? It means he's prototyping something, and it's still made by Head because the Head logo was still on the racket. So he had a blacked out racket, which Adam Friel from Diadem sent me one a little while ago. Thanks. That was very, very important for me. I play with it every day or feed balls with it for the most part these days, every day. But the blacked out racket means that Andy Murray is experimenting with a different frame. Andy Murray has basically his entire career has hit with the mid prestige Head 98, I think, a relatively heavy, firm, control-oriented racket. It looked to me the frame was a little thicker. It looked to me the head size was a little bigger, maybe a 100, maybe still a 98 with a more hollow frame. And he's been striking the ball very hard. He's been hitting the ball hard, but I don't see him using more energy than he ever has before. Mm-hmm. So my question is do you think two things? Do you think new racket experimentation, synonymous with what Roger Federer did when he went from his original Pro Staff 85 to, say, the K-Factor 90 era to his RF 97 era, is this synonymous with what Murray may be trying to do now, go from the firm, control-oriented Head prestige with the solid frame to a more power and spin-related 100 square inch frame with a bigger string pattern? Do you think that this will help him maybe, give him a new rebirth him life because he's getting a new frame? Or irrelevant? So you don't think rackets help anybody hit any better than they would with a different frame? Do you think that
it'll help you hit better, but if you win a tournament, it all depends on you.
Do you think that most of our students could come out and play with your Elevate 98?
No.
Do you think most students can come out and play with my Nova 100?
Probably.
So what I'm saying is it'll be a little bit more forgiving if I'm correct. The racket's blacked out. I have no idea what type of frame it is, but it looks like a 100.
Sure, rackets help out, but they're not going to help you win. That's up to you, right? I mean, just like the sneakers you wear. I mean, sure, racket feels better. You know, maybe your shots are more crisp. Like Jose P says, Murray's old, just wants a racket that's easier on him.
Let's go, Jose
That will
P.
let him keep up with the youngsters. Maybe you go with a lighter racket. Sure, it'll help out your game, but it's not going to make you win.
By the looks of the racket, it's looked like he's opened up the string bed a little bit. It looked like he has a 16x19 pattern. For all you stringers and non-racket guys, won't make any sense to you, but it looks like it's going to enable him to have a little bit more power on the ball, a little bit more spin, and a little bit more forgiving. I may be right or wrong, and I could just be totally off guard. It may be another paint schematic on the Prestige 98. I have no clue, but it looks like 100 to me, and it looks like a more hollow frame versus a very thin beam. We'll see. Let me ask everybody a question now.
Thanks for your message, Gene. Yeah, he sent me something about Murray's racket blacked out.
Thank you,
I was
Gene.
looking at the.
I just noticed it. I didn't read anything about it.
I was looking at the calendar on the ATP tour. Gene says there are going to be events in Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide before the Australian Open.
Okay, so the warm-ups are still intact.
Yeah, I was just looking to see the calendar. All I see is 2021. So I was trying to see how many tournaments are before.
Well,
the Australian Open.
Do you think that one of the biggest issues that players have, young players, when they step on the big stage, when it comes in terms of winning and losing, do you think a lot of the losses at a young age are because of nerves?
Of course,
they're tight.
Yeah,
they're like, oh my gosh, I'm here now. Okay,
we see it with junior tennis.
See it every day, right?
Every time they practice better, and then when they get into a tournament, they're tight. They don't do anything. They're capable of doing. Of course.
Yes. Yeah. So the warm-ups aren't just important for your game and getting the body and getting your timing and getting your fluidity and getting your mindset ready and getting the jet lag hours intact. But the warm-ups are also important for nerves, tightness. It's the younger generation, you know, these next-gen players. We've seen, two next-generation players come and go, and they're still Djokovic and Nadal. We'll talk about Federer in a little while. But the importance of the warm-up tournaments for the younger guys, and younger guys now are older guys, i.e. Zverev, Medvedev, and TM, the list goes on. But it's important for them to play the warm-ups because of tightness. So if they were to play just one tournament in January, being the Australian Open, and they meet someone like the beast Novak Djokovic in the final, they're not going to have time to have experienced the thick crowd prior to doing so. And that plays a factor. So making it deep in a warm-up tournament for the younger players is highly important psychologically, mentally, so they can deal with the situation. You agree?
Agree.
All right. Who is better on hard court? Rafael Nadal or Andy Murray, historically?
Historically, I think Murray, right?
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
We were talking with Robert earlier today. He's one of our students and one of our really good personal friends.
He's on.
What's up, Robert? Love you, man. He's a beast. He's a soldier. He fights hard. He doesn't take any crap, and he fights hard. Doesn't matter if he's playing our daughter or me. He comes to play. Hopefully he doesn't hurt himself, though. But he was asking us earlier prior to the show. He sent us a message, picture message. He was like, I don't understand how Rafael Nadal lost to Andy Murray. Longtime tennis fan, yes, maybe stepped away from the game or not, but we can't forget that Andy Murray is younger than Rafael Nadal. We can't forget that Andy Murray has won
how much younger
3 majors.
It can't be that much.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Murray was born in 1986 and Rafa 1985 or 85, 84. One's 35, thinking Rafa, and Murray's probably 34. So 34, 35.
That's not much of a difference.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it's biological time. It's wear and tear. A year on tour is a lot. Okay, a year on tour is a lot of time. A year is a year. I'm just saying, right? I think Rafael Nadal though turned pro prior to Murray, even given the age, because
there's not much
because
difference.
Nadal turned pro and won.
Yeah, but they've both been playing tennis just as long.
Exactly.
I don't think there's much of a difference. Disagree with that one.
Okay, can both players, Rafa and Murray, can both players stay healthy throughout 2022?
More of a chance of Rafa staying healthy than Murray with the hip problems. The hip is a bigger problem than the foot problem. It's like saying
they're two bad problems.
They're two bad problems. But if we're comparing hips to one foot, I think I'll take the foot over the hip.
You know, B-Dog's out there. B-Dog, question for you. Speaking about foot injuries, we got a couple. We got Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. We got Aaron Rodgers with the toe. Does either team? I don't think Baltimore NFL. I don't think Lamar's doing too much of anything in terms of winning a Super Bowl. I think Rodgers could, but does the toe i.e. the foot, keep Rodgers from winning a Super Bowl? I don't know. So back to tennis. If you're banging your feet all the time, it's on your foot, it's going to hurt. If you're banging your hip all the time, it's going to hurt even more because all your weight's pounding on it, but the foot does the same thing. So how do you compare the two injuries, except damn, tennis is 90% legs. Seriously. Tennis is legs, 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 legs. If you got no legs, you're done. And both of them have leg issues.
Yeah, that's what I don't expect too much for Murray at all. I mean, I think he's just playing for the love of the game. Rafa, hopefully he can put another French Open there. I don't see him winning the Australian Open, honestly. That's a tough one. I mean, there's many competitors there that could win the Australian Open.
Gene Swart with the knowledge drop. Murray is a week older than Djokovic. I like that. I love date of birth.
Yeah, they're all close in age, and they've all played a lot of tennis. A lot.
All right. Last question on this subject. And we're going to shift gears to Novak Djokovic and the vaccination thing, which I hate talking about, but we got to beat the dead horse, right? All right. Last question for you, Carla, and for all of you out there. Let's go, B-Dog. Is Andy Murray currently a top 10 player?
No.
I disagree.
No.
I think right now, if he's healthy, he's a top 10 player.
No.
I mean, I get he's not, but I
exactly.
I think if he's healthy,
so I can't say if. I mean, heck, if I was 10 years younger, no.
All right, skirt. Shifting gears.
Salty Dog said, "Hell no."
So salty dog, he is. I'm telling you, and
that's the truth.
A lot of you out there, come on.
The truth.
Oh, look look. There's an old song that was
top 30 maybe.
there was an old song. Come on, Jose P. There's an old song. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Definitely not top 10.
On Andy Murray's best day, he can beat anybody in the world, and you know it. He's done it before. He's won 3 majors. He's won 3 majors.
Okay. He might have to scream, hope someone gets injured, hope the crowd is helping him, hope he finishes the matches early. Absolutely not a top 10 player. Absolutely not. Disagree.
On his best day, one day, he's a top 5 player.
On his best day. Anybody could have that good day. Any of us on our best day.
Okay, so on my best day, I could be a top 5 player?
Maybe like when you didn't have an injury.
Yeah, I might get lucky and beat someone on one day.
You never know. Everybody has that.
Everybody has their
lucky time.
Okay, shifting gears. Skirt. Novak Djokovic. Let's talk about Novak, hence why I wore the hat. Remember that Florence Chan. What's up, my lovely lady? My lovely lady. She sent me the hat, which is the limited edition Novak Djokovic Izod hat, commemorative. Let's go. She sent me that hat, but let's switch gears to Novak Djokovic for a moment. Why is it now that Novak Djokovic is no longer basically considered Novak Djokovic or Nole? Now, at least in Western media here on this side, he's now, I mean, I quote, he's now referred to as the player whose vaccination status we're all waiting to hear about. Now, look, it's not
our business.
It's not our intention to talk about any type of disease, any type of anyone's personal medical records and so forth. You've heard me talk about divide and conquer for a couple of years on this channel, that we have a family here. I know a lot of family members are out there right now, Robert and Gene and Yin Hao and Jose P. And the list goes on. And if not now, everyone's international, they'll watch it later. So shout out here to everyone that knows our status on talking about COVID and vaccinations. We're not pro, we're not against. We just feel it's personal.
We're not against those rappers.
So yeah. So all I'm saying is I find it very insulting to Novak Djokovic and surely to his countrymen and his patriots to now have him spun as being the potentially unvaccinated player. I just want to ask everyone a question here. This has to do with NFL football. What's up, B-Dog? So the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders game was just postponed because of like 21 people on the Browns and a scattering on the other team. They tested positive, right? The thing is all of them were vaccinated. So these people were vaccinated. Now they can't play because they tested positive again. So what I'm getting at, so you've heard me talking about divide and conquer, right? Mm-hmm. What are some things in humanity and since we've been on this earth, what are some of the things that different different governments or countries or groups as a whole have used to divide and conquer us? Racism, right? Mm-hmm. Different forms of economics, meaning are you rich or are you poor? economic segregation. Let's look at different political beliefs, left or right, up or down, whatever. Let's look at religions, whether you're this religion or that religion. But hey, that's not damn good enough after 10,000 years of written human history. Now we have a vaccination status. So we didn't piss off the whole human race after this ism, that ism, this ism, that ism, this political belief, that color of skin, and everything else. Now we've found a way to segregate more because of a status of something that is your personal choice to protect yourself from potentially death or the health of others. I find it disrespectful, and there's no. I have no. I'm going to shut up. There's no way I will deviate from the fact that your medical is your medical personal history. If these vaccinations are doing what they're supposed to be, it's look, if I'm not vaccinated for polio and I get polio, that's my fault. Okay. Do I have people come over to my house and say, hey, I won't string your tennis racket unless you're vaccinated for the measles? I don't see it. I'm not going to pry into anybody's business, and I don't want to step out in the wrong side of the field here. But Novak Djokovic is A, a fighter, B, a patriot, and 3, someone that dedicates a lot of his time to his country, to the world, and to everything. By the way,
but you don't know if he's vaccinated or not. I mean,
it doesn't.
I mean, I read here that Paul McName, who is the tennis director of the Hopman Cup and the CEO of the Australian Open, said that he believes Djokovic is vaccinated.
Well, good for him. But it's
because
not
of the protocol.
But
then Australian Open, they said they have a medical exemption to those that participate without the vaccine. It says their case will be reviewed by 3 people in a panel, and their doctors, fields of immunology, infectious disease, and regular medical practice.
Yes, and reiterate that this isn't a pro or con against that. I'm not trying to we are not trying to involve ourselves. I mean, we may have had 27 vaccination shots, but the moral of the story is you're a human being, and some of the last freedoms that we have left is your medical records. You have to sign, you go to the doctor and you have to sign a release. Hey, you can release this information. And I always put my wife or my father because, he's a doctor, right? So if I go to the hospital and I blow out my knee and they're like, hey, if you die during surgery, who are you going to share your medical records with? I just write her, my wife, and then my father, who's a doctor. And I leave it at that. So I think if someone has to reveal something that they have done or put inside of their own body, I feel like it should be their choice to say, and that should just be it, and not to further deviate this man, i.e. Novak Djokovic, from the greatest players of all time, which Federer and Nadal are on the other side of that. He doesn't want to share. He's like Aaron Rodgers in a way in football. It's not that he doesn't want to do it and may have done it, but he just doesn't want to talk about it with strangers. That's it. And I think that's okay. And you can say, well, it's because he's a superstar and make $100 million a year. I'm sorry. If I made $100 million a year, that's still me, my business. Just saying. Okay. Anyway, did I squash everything? Okay. Last thing on Novak Djokovic. Does Novak Djokovic get 21? Does he ascertain his 21st major and solidify himself as the greatest of all time for future generations that have not been alive at this point, looking back in history, knowing that the greatest of all time in the history books will be the one that won the most championships? Will he do it at the Australian Open? Carla?
I don't know, because I thought he was going to do it. Well, no, I didn't think he was going to do it at the U.S. Open. I don't know.
Mike Walker?
Will pressure get to him? I don't know.
Mike Walker is in effect.
Pressure is his worst enemy.
Mike Walker, let me ask you a question, then, bro. I'm not a big New York Giants fan, but you're in NYC, and I read this morning that LT number 56, the dog, got arrested again. Man, I don't know what's going on with homeboy, but man, he could sure play some football. But man, since like 2006, he's been like, man. Good job, LT. I love you, bro. Heck of a player. But
Stefan says, greetings from the country of the best female tennis player in history. Good to see you.
Let's go, Stefan Nizovic. So Stefan Nizovic is from
how's life, Stefan? How's life?
Yeah, Stefan Nizovic is in Serbia. So I'm guessing that his favorite male tennis player of all time is Djokovic, and his favorite female tennis player would either be Jankovic or the one, the only, the beautiful Ana Ivanovic. Am I correct? Sup, Stefan? I'll still dunk on you, bro. My knees hurt now, but I'll still dunk on you.
No, you got no chance. He's too tall.
All right. Moving forward. By the way, if anyone has a topic or a question you want to talk about, put it in comments. We'll grab it. I wanted to mention this. Speaking of Novak Djokovic received an incredible honor. This honor may be not a big deal to some, but it's very humbling for someone such as myself that loves history. And I love the history of the post office. In other words, how mail travels internationally and how human beings have been able to deliver these letters for time immemorial, right? Okay, so Novak Djokovic received a huge honor in Serbia, and they released a postage stamp, what you put in an envelope when you want to send a letter, internationally or domestically, or abroad, right? A postage stamp commemorating himself, and you can get that now, right? So why is that humbling? What is some of the things that people, foreign and domestically, pay the most to do every single year, especially if you're in business? Marketing, right? Mm-hmm. Novak Djokovic, not only to get a postage stamp, who are some of the people in the United States that have postage stamps? Elvis?
Presidents?
Dead presidents?
Dead. Yeah, dead.
It's a pretty damn big deal to get a damn postage stamp. So now Novak Djokovic, as rightfully so, will have his face on a postage stamp that will circulate not only domestically but internationally. Quite a big damn deal. I wish we had a 5K tennis postage stamp. Could you imagine? Mm-hmm. Let's go 5K tennis postage stamp. Let me get that. Let me get that postage stamp. Okay. Anyway, heck of a big deal. Very proud. Good job, Novak. All right, next topic. How will Felix Auger-Aliassime do in year 2022? Felix Auger, Carla likes to call FAA little boy, little man.
No, he doesn't look like a little boy.
Okay, well, how is he going to do then?
The same.
He's going to still hang around?
The same. He'll be a top 20 player.
He's at 11 in the world right now.
I mean,
he'll stay in that top 20?
Stay in that circle, yeah. Unless something changes mentally, he will remain there.
Do you think that Felix Auger-Aliassime is ever a top 5 player?
He could be if he gets over that mental hump.
That leads me back to my first question.
Being more aggressive in tennis.
So he still is a little boyish in tactics.
Yes.
Maybe
he
maybe
needs to be a bit more aggressive. Sometimes I feel like he's just too neutral, and there are really not enough weapons there.
Yeah.
To become that champion that you need. You need some weapon. You need one weapon, and I feel like his ground strokes, his serve, his volleys, they're all pretty much even. There's not one better than the other, in my opinion. So.
Yes, Felix is really good at exposing weaknesses. But when he gets the short ball after having exposed weakness, let's say he pushes someone back, he gets the short ball. He has recovered generally more neutrally, right to the baseline or a foot behind it. When if you're pushing someone back and they're hitting off their back foot, you should be recovering about a foot inside the court. If you're confident and you're fine to remain neutral, and he loses a step of taking time away from his opponent habitually. I don't think, honestly, that Felix Auger-Aliassime will hang around at number 11 much longer. I love the kid. He's a great player. He's a fine gentleman. I love his court conduct. I have never, and correct me if I'm wrong, have any of you seen Felix ever break a racket? I don't think so. I've never. He's a fine young man, a handsome young man. I love this kid a lot. By the way, to all those last year that laughed at me when I said Casper Ruud would be a great player and maybe win the U.S. Open last year, I call you out now. For everyone that called me out on that.
What did he do?
He's number 8 in the world right now.
So
they're
all pretty much even.
Are you serious?
Tsitsipas.
I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that.
Nadal, who's injured, Berrettini.
Different segment.
So he's under.
Different segment.
So he's under.
So why are
Berrettini.
you reading out my segment?
He's under Berrettini. That's laughable.
It doesn't matter. He's there.
Oh my gosh! Have you seen the men's side?
Yeah, I'm fixing to read it shortly.
Come on.
Okay. So look, Felix is a great, consistent player. He has a good all-around game on an just above average kind of platform, right? Mm-hmm. He must expect the unexpected in a way. In other words, I think he's conditioned in his mind to play a more defensive game the majority of the times when he sets the points up quite often to go ahead and end it aggressively. Let's say he's got someone on the run, right? They're not looking at him. He could sneak into the net, right? He could sneak in, but he doesn't. He retreats and he covers the angle at the baseline when he could come in and catch the ball early. Mm-hmm. So just like you said, he needs to be more of an aggressive tactician. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, he'll get beat by the better ball striker, right or wrong? Okay.
I like Michael Walker's statement. Felix and Chapo have no plan B. If plan A ain't working, If he could find a plan B, if A ain't working, he could move up.
I agree. That's a great
there are
statement.
no plans. It's like watching junior tennis. There's no plan.
Yeah. Hit the like button. By the way, I saw Carla just type that. Remember that when we do the $500 cash giveaway for the Australian Open, and if Gene Swart and Thomas Chi Canada want to take ownership of the fantasy team for me or us as their own, then we'll do that as well. But you must be subscribed when the first ball is struck at the Australian Open. And that's another thing, Thomas and Gene, you'll have to keep up with if we do it. That you must be subscribed to at the point the ball is struck to win $500. It's a lot of money for Caller and I, believe me. And the last person to win it was Matt Kane in England.
It was a racket.
And he took the racket. Yeah, he took the racket. We sent him.
Didn't do cash at that point.
Yeah.
He took the racket.
Okay. Right now, Felix Auger-Aliassime is ranked number 11 in the world. Deservedly so.
Because he's played a lot of tournaments. That's
a ton of matches.
That's why he's 11.
Do you remember when Caroline Wozniacki was number 1 in the world?
Because
and
she played a lot.
She played a lot of matches. Do you think that Felix Auger-Aliassime's number 11 ranking is kind of synonymous with Caroline Wozniacki's number 1 ranking?
Absolutely. If you play a lot of tennis, your ranking stays up there. I think she was not the Safina did the same thing. Jankovic did the same thing. They played almost every tournament that was available.
Okay. Number 10 in the world is Yannick Sinner, the young man from Italy. Who is a better player, in your opinion, currently, Felix Auger-Aliassime or Yannick Sinner? Who would you rather?
I think Sinner, because I think he tries to be aggressive. Tries to be aggressive. He tries different things.
He takes risks.
You could see him trying to develop the weapon. You know, he's still a boy, but he's trying to develop that weapon. And I think if he keeps going that way, he'll be better.
I agree totally.
Yeah.
I do think, look, if I had a team of players, I would rather have Felix. He has that demeanor. He would be great in a locker room. He would have the love and respect of his teammates. That's how much I really love Felix Auger's sportsmanship. And remember, sportsmanship in tennis is absolutely paramount. You must have it. So I give Felix an A+ on that. I do think Carla's correct that Sinner is a little bit more risky in times of stress and goes ahead and takes the shot, whether it's a little more risky or not. Felix tends to go a little bit more neutral in that type of situation. So therefore, and when it matters, Felix doesn't get a lot of opportunities because he tends to push the ball a little bit. Okay, I'm going to read the top 10 currently on the men's and women's side, actually top 11. Here we go. Here's the top 10 currently for the men's side. Novak, Medvedev, Zverev, Tsitsipas, Rublev, Nadal, Berrettini, Casper Ruud. Let's go. Norwegian up there. Let's get down. Hurkacz, Yannick Sinner, then Felix Auger-Aliassime. Okay, on the women's side, Ashley Barty, Aryna Sabalenka. By the way, Aryna Sabalenka stays very active on social media. Do you think she's super hot?
Hell no. She looks like a dude.
Damn, you didn't just say no. You said hell no.
You even showed me and you're like, look, he's like not pretty.
Wow.
You even told me that. No, it's like, no, I don't think she is. I think she tries to be, and no, she's normal. No, she's not. I'm sorry.
All right. Followed by Muguruza. Remember, Muguruza used to be Muguruza, and now that's changed in time. Pliskova, who, by the way, has pulled out of the Australian Open due to injury.
Bajin fired yet?
Krejcikova, Sakari, Annette Kontaveit, Paula Badosa, Iga Swiatek, Ons Jabeur, and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. Okay, my question after reading that is this: how much different does those top 11 look at this time next year? Does it stay the same?
No,
does it alter?
It alters again.
You know, in the women's side, notice that Naomi Osaka was not in there.
Oh, she'll be in there.
Do you think that this year will be the year of Osaka, just like the Japanese used to say it's the year of the sun?
I think Osaka probably is hungry, tired of seeing baby Raducanu, in the spotlight. And I think she'll prove to the world that this is how tennis should be played. You should play tennis like a woman.
Yeah.
And this is how hard, like Serena like tennis. I don't see that from Raducanu. I saw that she was at
Raducanu who?
She was the ambassador for Avian. She was the ambassador for Avian, which reminds me of when Jennifer Capriati was, and then her tennis went.
Who is Raducanu? Who are you talking about? Raducanu?
I don't know.
Who is Andreescu? Andreescu?
Osaka's not gone. I'm going back to Michael Walker. Yes, to be top 11, you must win some tournaments. If Felix does not make it to the final to all those tournaments that he made this year, he will lose points. He made many finals, didn't win them. You got to repeat the same thing to keep, protecting your ranking points. So he better hope that he starts winning some tournaments.
Otherwise, if you win, you better back that bleep up. You better back that up. Yeah. Back it up. Because the GOATs, the Federers, the Nadals, the Djokovic's, and then now some of the younger guys are winning and then backing it up. Felix goes deep, but then doesn't back it up. So it's a problem. I think it looks much differently on both sides. I think the men's will stay pretty much routine. I think Djokovic has another year or two way up there, and I think that'll kind of hang in there, right? The women's side, I think, will look drastically different. Yes, I do think, and the women's side historically always looks drastically different with the likes of Serena Williams, but notice that she's not in there either, hence opening the door to a more different change. However,
I've not watched the movie, by the way, nor will I.
Yeah, we've been asked about that. Did we watch the Venus Serena? Carla has met these girls, and
I've read many coaches that know them really well, and they say it's not true. It's not true. A lot of the stuff there's not accurate. So yeah, it's a movie. So
have not watched that. And look, just like I was talking about Mike Sellers earlier, we were going to put a TV somewhere, and anyway, we're not big on TV. I can't sit down very long as it is, much less to watch a movie or something. I have no interest in watching the movie, and I do love Venus, and I do like Serena. Notice I said love Venus and like Serena. Okay, but I think this is the year of Osaka. She's been through her emotional thing. I think when that happened,
she'll probably grow up.
I think that when that happened, she slipped of the tongue, and I think she went through her period of staying out, as her publicist probably would say to do. And I think she's here, she's there, she's ready to go. She's grown up a bit. She's in some commercials now that are from very respectable companies, GoDaddy and some other things. I don't think that Naomi Osaka now is going to get bullied around by too many people. She's not in the top 10, but I don't see anyone in the top 10 that's going to want to deal with her on a hard court, and maybe not even grass. I know we haven't seen that yet, but I do think that she's going to do well at Wimbledon this year, if not win it. Remember, she has 4 majors. I like the fact that Annette Kontaveit is at number 7. I really like Kontaveit, have for a long time. I hope Kontaveit and Osaka do extremely well. I'm not sold on Paula Badosa at all.
No, me too. I think that's a joke.
I'm not sold on Pavlyuchenkova hitting at 11.
She's almost ready to retire.
Pavlyuchenkova's been a top 50 player for a long time. Why is she at 11? She's played well. She's played. She's always played well. But for some of these girls to still be,
Kontaveit, I don't know. Sakari, she could be any other girls.
And good work for Sakari to getting here. She's a brute force. She's a soldier. She's strong, but she doesn't have that genius mentality that a tennis player takes. Like we always say, academics is everything. When we coach young kids. I don't care who it is, especially kids that are still in school. You better make straight A's, and I better hear your parents saying that when you come out and practice with us, because if not, you're going to have a really rough go. If you can't make straight A's in school, there's no way you're going to be a very Excelsior tennis player. Academics is everything. But there's a lot of smart players, and then there's a lot of players that aren't so smart. Ashley Barty, we can't forget about, is very tennis smart. Barty is on any surface a threat because of her variety. She can add spin. She can give you the power. She has a very good serve. She has a great all-around game and wonderful sportsmanship. So I do think we'll see a lot of Barty and Osaka and matchups today. Probably not finals because of the seeding, Barty being one, and Osaka just kind of being thrown in there because of her seeding currently. But I think that tournament organizers, as random as they say that they are in terms of draw selection, I do think they should throw Osaka and Barty on opposite sides of the draw so the crowd can at least get some drama. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Does Roger Federer play another tournament? If so, which one will it be? And will it be his last? Do you care? I care. I
like him, but it's like, this is the same thing as Del Potro. It's just the longer you stay away from tennis, the tougher it is to come back to it. Just saying.
Exactly, Mike Walker. Mike Walker says, Justin sounds like Richard Williams when it comes to grades in tennis. Let me just put it out there. You all know this, hence our name, 5K Tennis. We have 5 children. Believe me, we don't have deep pockets. Our oldest son went to the Air Force Academy there. Now he's here. Our next son in line has already gotten full scholarship offers to the Coast Guard Academy, Norwich University, and Vanderbilt. He's still holding out for the Air Force Academy or West Point. We haven't heard from that yet. Anyway, and then 3 more to go. But I have one rule. The only problem you'll have with me, Dad, is A, if you don't bring home straight A's. B, if you don't give it your all on the tennis court. Other than that, I leave him alone. Do I not? Okay, so the only time I've had to deal with this, Jonathan, our oldest, who's now at the Air Force Academy, he was, I think, like a sophomore in high school or something. And look, I'm not big on TV or video games, but I got them one to use if they do good things. And he brought home a B from school and all of things Spanish. Remember, he's Spanish. Mom's Spanish. He got a B in Spanish. I took it away, all television.
He didn't get a B in Spanish.
What would he get a B in?
It was another class. It was a Spanish.
Anyway, I took everything away until the following report card the next year. All summer long, he went without it until I got another report card the next year. So like a 6-month thing until I got another all A report card. And did I give into that? Did I ever give him anything? In other words, I went through with it, right?
Yeah.
Did he ever make another B?
No.
Has anyone else in this family made a B since then?
No.
Straight A's.
Yeah.
Academics is number 1, period. No exceptions. Number 2, tennis. And then if you get accepted into college and you get a full ride, whatever, then I leave you alone. So if you get into college academically or playing tennis,
I didn't get straight A's.
I'm done.
Ying Hao, I was a terrible student.
Yin Hao would agree. I know
He
Yin
said
Hao
I
would
never
agree.
got straight A's.
All right. Well, he's an exception.
SK Joe, you must be anti-Osaka because I see Michael Walker going back with them.
That's like
she's a. Let's be real.
I'm glad they're there. That's great.
One thing about Osaka is, we gave her grief and all that, but one thing is she's a very good tennis player.
She's solid.
She's solid. The serve alone, the first and second serve are very similar.
Yeah, she doesn't push her second
speed.
serve. Mm-hmm.
And anything short in tennis, if you want to win, anything that is short must be a put away, and she does that.
Yeah, and
if you bring her forward, you're in trouble.
Yes, and she plays with a relatively heavy racket for a female. I think it's like 10.8, 10.6, 10.8. No, it might even be 11 ounces. It might be even up there, even more. And she's able to strike the ball and control it. When she's on, it's hard to even get. You don't have any time to come in with her because she hits the ball so hard. You can't use the short game with her the majority of the time because she whacks it so hard and so fast. Anyway, it's kind of like playing Andy Murray right now. When Murray was playing Nadal and Shapovalov, Murray's hitting the ball really hard right now. And I don't think it's because of necessarily more firepower due to being in the gym. I think it's because he's got that blacked out racket with 100 square inch and looking like a 16.9 string pattern. But anyway, Osaka is able to wield a pretty heavy racket and hit very hard and flat with it and add spin when she needs to. Do you think that this will be the year of Osaka?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think she'll win one slam at least.
What female player do you think will screech the loudest this year? I'll give you an example. What female player will hit the decibel level of? She
wants to be seen, heard, and everything. So the way that she can do it is by screeching. Definitely not by her tennis game. Screeching is the way she stays around the tennis court.
Okay. I'm going to ask 2 questions, and I want you to say if you agree or disagree. Here we go. Emma Raducanu, who? What did I say? Who? Do you agree or disagree?
I 1,000,000% agree.
Agree. My next one, Bianca Andreescu, who? Bianca.
In Andreescu's defense,
yeah,
the injuries suck for her.
Yeah, I agree.
But if she can get through that, again, another phenomenal tennis player.
Yeah.
I would put her in the category of Osaka.
Yeah.
Has all the power, the finesse, the smarts that you need to be a champion.
The build.
I like her. So I hope that she gets through that because this is what women's tennis needs to see. You need to see strong players, but at the same time, that they could be smart and they could have plan A, plan B, plan C. I think they are Osaka, Andreescu, players that can attract the youth, the girls to get into tennis, that it's okay to be strong, to look that way. And at the same time, be a champion.
Exactly.
I like it.
I agree with Carla 100%. Mike Walker says it. Yin Hao Kaur has agreed, and a couple other and SKJO. She'll just be an ordinary player. Exactly. The whole U.S. Open thing.
He's talking about Osaka.
I disagree. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Either way, thank you for commenting. Keep them going. By the way, I love to see interaction between not just you and I, but you and fellow 5K tennis family members. I'd love to see it. That's what we do this for. It's like let's go. Come on, let's get down. But Bianca Andreescu is a fine tennis player. I don't feel I don't feel like Emma Raducanu is a fine tennis player. I think she's a good tennis player.
She's a good tennis player.
She's a good tennis player.
I mean, if we compare Andreescu when she won her U.S. Open to Raducanu, completely different type of tennis. You watch Andreescu when she got to the finals, unbelievable the way she played. look at Raducanu. I mean, you compare all the matches. I mean, I'm not impressed. Even when Osaka won the U.S. Open twice, she blew people off.
I agree totally.
You know, that's when you see someone make a Grand Slam final, win it, they're blowing off people at the court, or maybe winning close
and
matches.
Andreescu was doing that, and she was doing that.
That tennis was smarter. There was variety. I just felt like two juniors played the final, and the best junior won, in my opinion. That's what I saw.
Personally, I feel like Leylah Fernandez is a better junior than Raducanu is, just because of sheer one wants to be glamorous and the other one is just plain Jane. And when glamour strikes you and you have to deal with the media and all that stuff, it takes away from your game. And Fernandez hasn't done that, at least not to that extreme, which therefore I think Fernandez has a better trajectory moving forward, because she hasn't been the one at the Met Gala. She hasn't been the one on Cosmopolitan magazine. She hasn't been the one that just got Raducanu Ridge and Hinman Hill and Murray Mountain. She's still Fernandez. And then that's why I think she has a better future. Bianca Andreescu, by the way, is much different for me. She's a lights out ball striker. She has arguably one of the best forehands in all of tennis, and I mean men's and women's. Her racket travel, she comes back with the racket. She lets the head fall. So she comes in at 90 degrees, racket heads up, hands here. She lets the racket fall, and right as the racket gets to the bottom of the fall, she's fluid. She whips it around, good pronation. She lights the ball up, and she does it with relatively little energy. Okay. Raducanu really has to muscle the ball to put that type of pace on it.
She needs to put some a little bit of gym work, I think. Some muscle, because she's just very.
But Andreescu is a beast tennis player. However, injury prone. I know the feeling. Injuries stopped me from basically leaving juniors into college because I dealt with so many injuries young. I know the feeling, and it sucks. It really does. Thank goodness for coaching.
Didn't Bianca win the U.S. I mean, Bianca won Indian Wells, Canadian Open, U.S. Open. Was a qualifying player who won the U.S. Open. Is that a fair comparison? There is no comparison, Michael Walker. What is there to compare? That's my whole point. You guys are living in La La Land. I get it. You are from London, whatever, and you love her. But watch what I'm saying. And I think
she's not.
I'm telling you, she's not going to win another Grand Slam. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I mean, she's nowhere near the likes of a Justine Henin or.
And I know Osaka, SK Joe. I know she gained some weight, but people gain weight and they lose it. I gain weight and I lose it. I mean, I think she can lose it. She's got the money. She's got the fitness trainers to get her back in shape.
I agree.
She can win it.
And look, we're not knocking on Raducanu. She's a beautiful young girl, and she's a heck of a tennis player. Mm-hmm. But we have seen much better. Surely, all of you have as well. Here's a couple of things to end the show. Number one, Bernard Tomic, the Australian player that's been through ups and downs, adult movies and the like.
Oh, I wrote about that.
Bernard Tomic has been actually, quote, working very hard and says he feels reborn. On the other hand, Nick Kyrgios, not trying to give Nick a bunch of airtime because I don't feel like airtime he deserved outside of he is a really good tennis player, though, but his antics and sportsmanship, I think, are below zero. Which Australian player in 2022 has a better season, the unpracticed and never practiced, uncoached Nick Kyrgios, or do you think the quote-unquote been working very hard, reborn Bernard Tomic has a better year?
Kyrgios. And I think Tomic in the interview said that he beat Kyrgios, so he's the better player. And then Kyrgios says, well, I have titles. You don't. And I've beaten players like Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. You haven't. Kyrgios' game is better than Tomic's. Tomic's game is, I never really liked his game.
Here's a question. Bernard Tomic one year either made it to the quarterfinals or semifinals of a major, either the U.S. Open or Wimbledon. I think it was Wimbledon. Maybe it was the fourth round. Anyway, who has gone farther in a major, Kyrgios or Tomic? Because I think Tomic made a deep run one year at Wimbledon.
But I think Kyrgios has been the more consistent player.
True.
I don't like his game at all. I just don't.
All right, a couple parting questions. By the way, B-Dog, Mike Walker, all you out there, who is your favorite to win the Super Bowl in American football, NFL, not soccer, but football? Who's your favorite, Carla?
I'm going to go with Tom Brady or Rodgers.
Okay, so you're going – but so they can't play one another, so they're in the same conference. So
whichever one from those.
Tampa Bay's NFC, yeah, so you have to – okay, so who would you think would win in that NFC championship, Green Bay or Tampa Bay?
I don't know. Both of them are veterans. I don't know.
Interesting. In the AFC, you may not know who the AFC teams are in the AFC. Who you got?
I'm just picking those two teams. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, who's your favorite to win the NBA basketball championships this year based upon we're not quite to really midseason yet?
I don't know. Don't care.
Look, I'm gonna
I
go.
mean, I've been watching Curry's record that he broke. I props to him. I didn't like. I never liked the Warriors because of that whole team. The arrogance they had in that team. But you gotta love Curry.
That's when KD was there.
Yeah, I didn't like KD, but again, then LeBron. What the hell? It seems like he's a diva now.
Yeah, I tell you what.
I love LeBron, but lately it's like he's a diva, and I don't like that. So.
Yeah, look, it's not hard to pick one seeds. I like Phoenix, though. I like the Phoenix Suns. I do like the Warriors out there as well. The Phoenix is a pretty darn good team. And I like the Nets in the East. Anyway, we'll see how that plays out. And that's all I've got. Okay?
That's it.
Much love. Let's go. Come on. Okay? Be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a tough battle. Work hard or someone else will. Stay positive no matter what. Do good things, because karma is a bitch. And we will update you on our future schedule upcoming in the next couple of weeks. And shout out to all of you out there that have stuck around with us for all the years at this point. Vamos, let's go. Good to hear from you, B-Dog, Gene, Mike Walker, SKJO, Yin Hao, Jose P, Robert out there, and everyone that hasn't watched it yet. All right? Much love. Come on. All right.
Adios.
Peace out.